Thank you for coming back for the use of the propane. Now, understand what I've already done is I've already checked the oil on my machine, made sure that my air filter is clean. I've installed the pad, made sure that it was centered, and also checked my tank to be sure that it is within the date usable for the propane tank. All of these things have already been checked, and I'm getting ready to run the machine. Now, this particular machine happens to be battery start, and in that case it has a battery here, and I need to connect it like that to my switch. So what I'm going to do right now, just test, make sure my battery works. Okay, yep, it works. So one of the other things I have to do now, and I don't know if you can see that from here, but I need to install my connection to my tank. Now notice that my valve is right here, and so I'm going to do this, and this is just going to be hand tight. You won't use a pair of pliers or anything, just your hand, and you're simply going to tighten that down, make sure it's hand tight. Now, battery works, propane's hooked up, everything's checked, time to operate the machine. Now, to start the machine, I'm going to use the throttle switch here and push it completely forward. I'm going to hit the starter. Now, one of the things, whether it be electric or battery start, you don't want to keep grinding away. You're just going to do it for about 5 seconds. If it fires up, you're good to go. If it doesn't, shut it off, turn the key off, let it sit for about 5 seconds, and then start it again. Typically, it might take 2 to 3 times, depending on the machine. Now, once I start it, you won't be able to hear me. As you know, it's I think this one's a 17-horse engine. So, one of the things that you need to do when you go into the floor, and I'm going to do this from the camera here for you. So, you don't just drop it on the floor like that. Don't just throw it on the floor. You actually start going forward and let it come into the floor slowly, and then whenever you're getting ready to finish or you're going to stop, you can just set it back. So again here, whenever you're going to go onto the floor and the machine's rolling, you'll notice that I'll come onto the floor like this and start running. Now, if you're a new user, you're probably thinking, oh, I don't want to run it at full speed. Actually, the faster that this pad goes, the easier it is to operate. But here's the clue too. The faster that pad spins, and that's what a propane is supposed to do, is supposed to, burnish that floor. It's also easy to burn the floor, not just polish it. So whenever you're not going to run the machine forward, you always lift it up. Well, you don't have to lift, you just kind of let it naturally will do this, like this. You're not going to apply any pressure with your handle. All you're going to do is just follow it around like this. And you notice my hands like this, you're just going to follow it along. Anyway, watch and see how I do it, and then we'll discuss what I did, and the class can then talk about questions and answers afterwards. Here's how we work. Remember, you turn this on just a little bit, just about a half a turn. I've got propane, I've got power, I've got this. See, didn't start. See, I heard that fire? You'll start this. the valve half turn and you start the engine. There you are. You start the engine of fuel. Never turn off the key when it's running. Now, you pull your throttle and pull it all the way back, and you turn off your key. Now, you probably learned in the class that there was a couple things I didn't do, and I did that on purpose so that we could discuss it. You know, I'm just doing a small test area here for the purpose of this video with you. If you're running this for a long period of time, the best advice is, if you can, wear a mask for dust. Now, you might have seen as I ran over to the floor, you saw a little puff. Well, what that is that's the burnisher, the high-speed propane burnisher, actually creating a sanding on the floor finish. And when it hit a little high spot, what did it do? It poofed. This is always going to happen. What is that dust that you saw there? Well, what it is it's powdered floor finish. It's or the restorer that you might have put on. That's why you're going to wear the dust mask. It's not really going to do anything for the vapors. And propanes today have very sophisticated monitoring systems, and you'll learn about our maintenance program and everything that you should do. You'll learn that in the class handbook. Now, air protection. Everybody has a different viewpoint on this, but I will tell you that over a long period of time in an enclosed room, you probably need to have some kind of ear protection, whether it be headphones or plugs. I will tell you this, I do not prescribe the use of a radio. Why? Because you need to pay attention to what you're doing and not your music. I know that's probably not really popular, but this is a very dangerous machine if you don't pay attention. It's a very safe machine if you pay attention to what you're doing. Now, as far as safety goes, remember, always turn off the propane, start the engine of fuel, turn the key off. However, if you're just going to leave it for a short period of time, say I want to move my auto scrubber, I want to move something, that's fine. But if you're going to take and go to lunch or something, here's my advice. Always take and undo your propane so your hose isn't hooked up. And the other thing I say, the key, this key right here, this key belongs with you, not here on the machine. Anyway, so here's some of the safety protocols on how to run your machine, how to shut it off. Remember that little spot over here I showed you? Biggest thing of all, when you're running your auto scrubber, check that floor, make sure there's nothing that pad can touch, and then make a projectile. Unfortunately, I've seen it done. I've even done it myself back a long time ago. Anyway, class, have a good time running your propane. Hope you pass your exam. Any discussion? We're here to help.